there's your depth right out of the gate, just gone basically.
Depleted.
So we were talking about this before the show started, where yesterday it was already reported because Ollie spoke and Jack Flaherty spoke and all the minor league players of the year spoke, but so Alex Reyes is not going to be on the opening day roster. So he had a therapeutic injection into his shoulder, and then I think he's going to be back on Friday. With Jack Flaherty, they basically said we'll probably know more tomorrow. That was said the day before, and it was also said when Jack spoke and when Ali Marmol spoke. So maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I wonder, did they get some news? Was the news not on the great side, and they went for a second opinion? Because I thought we were going to basically have a diagnosis yesterday. The Cardinals even said that. So the fact we didn't hear from them, and I could be wrong, but it leads me to believe that they saw something that was not too great. And I don't know the degree of that, by the way, but they saw something and said, I want to get a second look. That's what I think happened.
Can I just say this to Virtue Signal? We shouldn't speculate. We should not speculate on that kind of thing. But I also think you're probably right, Charlie.
Well, when the Cardinals say you're going to know more, they usually come out. Like I expected yesterday that John Mozeliak would come out at the end of whenever the workouts end, after everybody leaves, whatever. If it's 2, 3 o'clock Florida time, I expected John Mozeliak to come out and speak for the club on what's happening with Jack. That didn't happen. So who knows? But when they say we're going to know more later in the day and it doesn't happen, it just leads you to wonder what that exam showed.
Kilsick chimes in and goes, I wasn't expecting anything from Flaherty. Not much since the sensational half of 2019.
Jack Flaherty was awesome last year before he got hurt.
Come on.
He was awesome.
Jack Flaherty, when he's healthy, is one of the better, if not one of the best. Not the best, but he's in the conversation based on the fact that he's young, and he's probably, if healthy, just scratching the surface of what he can be. He's fun to watch pitch, okay? And I don't know, what his long-term prognosis is. I'm hoping for the best, but I just don't know how you could argue when he's healthy. He's one of the better pitchers in baseball, and he's fun to watch. And if you're a Cardinal fan, you should hope this issue that he's going through is something that he can get past.
Yeah. Nate the Great, what are you thinking back there?
Yeah, Flaherty's really good. I mean, but you got to stay healthy, and it's disappointing. And I think we've all talked about it at length, that pitching depth was a concern coming into this thing. And when you take 2 big shots right out of the gates, and Flaherty's, I think losing Flaherty is a lot worse than Reyes. I mean, Reyes does a lot for you, and he can do a variety of roles. But Flaherty, man, I mean, he's your ace, de facto ace. I mean, you might
He's
say
the ace.
He's the ace.
He's the ace. And
I mean, he was 8-0 last year before he hurt his oblique swinging a bat in Los Angeles, and he was pitching a damn good game out there too, by the way.
That's right.
Any rotation that has Jack Flaherty in it, there's at least a lot to build off. And,
Yeah.
But to Charlie's point, so if he's not available, at least in the early going, and Reyes, who was a guy who was in the mix for a spot in the rotation, they were going to stretch him out, and he was a plan B sort of guy. If he's delayed, as Charlie says, that's your depth.
And I think some people don't like Jack Flaherty for different reasons. I also don't think Jack Flaherty is going to sign long-term with the Cardinals, which is a different conversation. But to say he's not good, like last year in April, March, he was 4-0, 3.18 ERA, 27 Ks, and 28 in the third innings. In May, he was 4-1 with a 2.67 ERA with 40 strikeouts and 33 2/3 innings. So when he got hurt, he was a Cy Young candidate. I understand he's been really banged up. Okay, 2019 at the end, he was awesome. 2020 with COVID, not great. But he is one of the most talented pitchers in baseball.
Long-term Flaherty is going to be a Dodger.
I agree with that.
Well, that's where he's from. They have a lot of money to spend.
A lot of money.
I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility, but based on what's going on with the Cardinals and what they need from him this year, it's a scary scenario, one that would cause anyone concern.
They shopping now. They're looking around because you never know.
J-Hap.
Oh, for another pitcher or for Flaherty?
No, the Cardinals thinking that he's going to be out for a long time.
Well, I think an interesting conversation is down the road. And now this is not something you have right now, especially when he's injured. But Jack Flaherty, remember, he went to arbitration against the Cardinals.
Yep.
And he won.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he put out the Michael Jordan meme.
Yep.
And I took that personally.
Yep.
Right? Jack Flaherty is the union rep for the Cardinals. He's been very outspoken during the whole process when he can about the lockout. The Cardinals were one of 4 teams that voted against the CBA that was ratified. So if you look at all of that, Jack Flaherty does not seem to me like a guy who will ever sign a deal before free agency. And the Cardinals, when they let a guy walk, they usually don't sign that guy.
Somebody Rockdale chimes in and goes, why is it always a spring training of multiple try that again. Why is it always a spring training of multiple out-of-nowhere injuries? I don't feel like you hear about this issue with other teams every spring. It's either the Cardinals' curse or the medical staff is inconsistently awful. That's from the Rockville Rectal Rooter.
This year specifically, I do think it's different because these guys could not talk to the medical staff. They could have no correspondence with the training staff for 3 months. I think this year's different. I mean, if you want to do a deep dive, are Cardinals pitchers actually injured more than other teams in recent years? Like in the last 5-10 years? I don't know if that's the case. It might be, but I think if
maybe
we went...
Maybe pitchers.
Okay,
maybe.
But pitchers get injured on every team.
True.
The Rays had 12 relievers on the DL at one time last year. So I think if we actually did the research to look up every team, I'm not so sure the Cardinals have more pitching injuries than other teams. I could be wrong.
And also, to be fair about it, these injuries didn't come out of nowhere. I know some have, but Flaherty, just made it back last year, and Reyes has had, a number of injuries along the way. So I don't think they necessarily came out of nowhere. But yeah, you don't want to get hit at this point, especially what makes it more drastic is that it's a short spring training, so you don't have that cushion to get these guys ready.
And here's a good example. Look at those great young Mets pitchers from the last 5-7 years. DeGrom, Matt Harvey, Syndergaard, Matz. A lot of those dudes were hurt. A lot of those dudes are hurt a lot.
I like that Syndergaard. He's got a cool look to him, don't he?
Kershaw's older. He's injured all the time now. Max Scherzer's one of the main guys that really doesn't get hurt very often.
Yeah. 855-282-8255. Rockies signed Chris Bryant, 7-year, $182. Damn, I'd like to play for that team. I'd like to sign a big contract in Colorado, have a nice apartment in Denver, and then have that badass mountain home, baby, looking over something beautiful, and just spend my money in that beautiful state. I like Colorado. I like Denver, and you could hit bombs in that park too.
But
they suck.
But you can't win.
No, you can't win.
And
yeah, you got your money.
They're going to flip him 2-3 years from now, you would think. Don't you think Chris Bryant, he's going to get tired of losing 2-3 years from now?
It's weird, though, that even Jimmy was talking about that. It's the whole Nolan Arenado, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you don't have any money, and now you do?
Like, I think that's shocking. I don't know if you found... When do they show that they're going to jump in on a big-ticket free agent out of nowhere? When have they showed that? They backed away from Nolan. And if you look at what they gave Chris Bryant, who's 30, he's a good player, I get it. But clearly they backed away from Nolan. I think they just whacked some of their baseball front office guys, too, like in terms of the logistics and numbers and all that. And now they go out and they get Bryant. I think Bryant's a good player, but didn't that come out of nowhere?
I agree with you. I feel like we had heard some rumblings about the Rockies that maybe they were even interested in bringing back Trevor Story. I think the one difference is that clearly Nolan Arenado for that last year or two did not want to be there. So in a perfect scenario, did the Rockies want to keep Nolan Arenado? If he was happy, maybe. Nolan Arenado wanted to leave. He was rumored to be traded the last couple of years. And the Rockies got to a point, part of the reason the Cardinals fleeced them so bad, and that was one of the worst trades ever for any team and one of the greatest for the Cardinals for what they gave up for Nolan Arenado, is the Rockies had no leverage. because they were entering a year where Nolan Arenado was absolutely going to opt out after that year. And so you were going to get nothing in return, basically. He didn't want to be there. I think that's the difference.
But if you look at why he didn't want to be there, it's because he didn't feel they were committed to winning. He got sideways with the GM, but that was based on the fact that he wanted help. So in a sense, he wanted out because they weren't doing things like signing a big-ticket free agent to help him. So that's why it's shocking. Nolan's gone. He's here, right? And all of a sudden now you're going to start spending money. It just, to me, I mean, it was just really surprising. I was like, I looked, I thought that has to be a fake account. I forget who broke it. With those things, you always have to say who had it first. I don't really care. But I saw it. I thought, that's got to be a fake account. I read that they were in on this guy and that guy. You read a lot of teams are in on. It just means sometimes when you read that, oh, this team is in on that guy and that, it's not really true. It's an agent wanting to seem like there's a bigger market for a guy.
Yep.
I think Chris Bryant, though, he gets his bag, gets his big old bag of cash, go there, have some fun.
Oh, yeah.
New place, hitting jacks.
Damn right.
2-3 years.
Mountain home, baby.
Couple losing seasons. You kind of start, I think Scott Boras represents him, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of floated out there, a little unhappy.
Look at Nate. Nate's like, I got a mountain home out there.
No, I don't. Well, actually, it's my brother's, but yeah, I guess technically.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
it's awesome out there. I'm sorry.
It's amazing.
I don't care
my
if we
God.
suck. I'm going to go play out there for 4 years and just live the life.
Chris Bryant's already won, too. And
Yeah,
not
he
to
is.
say that, that plays a factor, but
It's called Aspen, where the beer flows like wine.
and did anybody think that Chris Bryant was going to get $180+ million deal? I mean, I just didn't really see that coming. It maybe because his name hadn't been talked about a whole lot, but the one that shocked me is the Freddie Freeman deal to the Dodgers. I mean, the rich just get richer. Holy
They're loaded.
smokes.
Loaded.
Good
That'd be
deal
cool.
for the Giants, though. 1 year, $6 million for Peterson.
Yes.
That's a really good deal, especially they probably overpaid for Rodon. I don't think that's a secret.
But the value for Jock Peterson, to get that guy for $6 million, I know in that ballpark it's not a great hitter's park, but Jock Peterson can hit you 30 homers. He can even take a bench role and be really valuable off the bench with pinch hits like we saw last year with the Braves. He's a really valuable player for $6 million a year.
Why are people are bashing Cardinals doctors? Cardinals doctors suck. Take the Scott Rowland injury, for example. He had to go to the Rockies team doctor.
Okay, so the reason I said in recent years, I don't know the exact staffing roster, but that's also, we're talking, 15 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time ago. The Cardinals should sign Clumpy.
Good old Clump.
Is that your boy?
I agree.
I thought he was going to the NFL draft.
Clumpsy. Oh, he's got to decide.
First
Just
overall.
like old boy from Arizona Cardinals are.
Everyone says this about Clumpy. Clumpy.
It's a bad nickname.
No,
Clumpy.
people like Clumpy because he's a feisty guy.
Yeah, he is.
Cardinal fans love that, but they just wonder, can he handle the big fastball?
Yeah.
I think he can.
Yeah.
I think Clumpy can do it.
Clumpy. Do we got to go to break, by the way? Because we're all screwed up. All right, let's go to break. Let me tell you about something right quick. You got that bracket down, Jimmy? Jimmy's got his bracket down.
I have to self-report because, gosh, I'm an idiot. You know that.
No.
I posted it, and I thought I had a nice little way to post it, kind of mocking it, and then the picture came out backwards. So people are like, they thought I did
Your
it by...
phone was upside down, Jim.
They thought I did it by design. Like, no.
No.
They thought it was like, oh, this guy's really thinking 3 levels ahead. No.
Dad
He's
joke.
just dumb. Just dumb.
Well, let me tell you something. If I played in Colorado, I'd hit some dingers too, because I'm all mentality, baby. Oh, Lordy B, do I feel good. I sleep like a rock.
You'd get abused by the breaking pitch.
Yeah, that's probably right. But if I got a hold of it, Jimmy, with that power I
That's
got
true.
now,
No, that's true.
it's gonzo. It's gonzo. In the Rockies. Hitting all the way to the mountains, because I feel that strong. Doing push-ups out the wazoo. Listen, try it out. LowTUSA.com. You don't know where you're at, man. Like, you could be pretty young and lose your testosterone. I mean, it just happens. It is what it is. You don't even realize it until you're like, man, I just don't feel right anymore. But boy, oh boy, you are going to feel right. They'll get you right. Board-certified physicians, you walk in there, they'll take your blood, they'll tell you exactly what's going on in your body. If you need it, you do. If you don't, you don't. Insurance covers it. It's an easy thing to do. I know it's tough to walk into places and be like, my testosterone's low and I'm not, I'm not satisfying my wife. Like, I get that's kind of hardcore. I don't give a damn. I'll be like, I need to change this and change it now. And I did. And boy, oh boy, did it change into home life. I'm telling you right now.
That laugh makes me a little uncomfortable. to be honest.
USA.com. Check them out. 2 different locations, South County and Chesterfield. Lovely places, lovely people. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. LowTUSA.com. What you got?
Well, I just have a quick nugget. Can I just throw it out there real quick?
You could have a nugget.
Because we're talking about injuries. This is last year. Seth, are you mad that we're not breaking? I'm sorry.
Gosh.
I'll be quick. Last
He's
year
all right.
through May, there were 104 soft tissue injuries that resulted in stints on the IL in baseball, a 160% increase from the previous full season, which was 2019. Hamstring tears were up 193%. Oblique strains and tears up 83%.
Damn.
So I think a lot of the stuff you saw last year and still could be seeing some of that this year is all these pitchers and all these players did not play a full season in 2020. They stopped, they started, they didn't have a full workload, and I think you saw a lot of injuries because of that.
Clumpy is the new Bo Hart. Monty chimes in. Mitchie chimes in and goes,
Scrappy. He's scrappy.
I'm watching last year's combine. Clumpy is quite an athlete. Did he go undesired? Clumpster, man. And he's a wheel, isn't he?
I got a signed baseball from Bo Hart.
Do you?
Met him, shook his hand and everything. I got one from him, Eli Marrero, and Kerry Robinson.
Carrie
Carrie
skates with us.
He's a
lovely.
Kerry's
human
a
being.
great dude.
Hazelwood East guy.
And so is Bo Hart. You know,
He blew up here big time, right?
he's Memphis, I think, still Memphis, and that's where he works now. And he's really good dude, man.
I heard he's a great. I met him. We did charity stuff together.
Yeah,
great guy.
Good guy.
Yeah, just like a. Where's he from? Is he from here? No.
No.
Okay,
No.
but he the fans kind of got behind him.
Yeah, and then he got off to like almost an historic start, and then Dan Patrick kind of jumped on the Bo Hart story. Good looking guy, really good person, and wasn't able to sustain
Well,
it.
you get all that attention, man.
But it all worked out well because he's got a really good job.
Yeah.
He still makes appearances here, Memphis. People still love him, and so it's all good. Got a great family, so it's all good.